Hello. It's been a little while, I suppose. Uh, yeah, sort of the last little bit we were in mourning a little bit, because the Queen of England and the UK and the Queen of Australia, actually, she passed away. So there was that. And, I don't know, a lot of reflection, I guess, also coming to me from the perspective of grief revisited, I guess. Because yeah, I know grief quite well. Loss when I was a few years younger. I um, lost a lot of people in my life, actually, and I've talked about that very briefly, I think, in the past on this channel. But um, yeah, so it just brought up a lot of um, memories, emotions, and reclarifications. Let's get that word. Clarifications about life and about what to do, what I want to do, and what I don't want to do. Um, so, yeah, it sort of caught up with all of that, I guess. And I realise I very much want to try to create a life that is creative. And obviously, this music has been, and some of these vlogs, I guess, have been my attempts at that, or my beginnings of actual attempts. I think I've thought about being a creative for a long time, especially being a writer, because that was my background, is my background, and is my life. I write every day. I'm always writing, so that's nothing hard for me. I had a lot of hang-ups about creating literature or poetry. And now I've written all this poetry, which I now call songs. And, yeah, it's just that funny thing of you do something that you fantasize about doing for a long time, and then you're like, oh, it's not nearly as dramatic as I would have imagined, or not nearly as tedious as I would have imagined. Actually, it was very tumultuous in some ways. And I mean, I'm sounding as if I'm finishing. I'm not finishing it. It's just I'm coming to a conclusion about how to go forward with this, because I really don't know how to. I've kind of finished all of these albums or all of these collections of songs about most of the people that inspired them. The sort of central figures that became kind of in a way my own, I don't know, personal mythology on some level. Um, so, so yeah, I think that now that I've sort of cleansed myself quite largely of that, especially of the Panther, um, and I've spoken to people who have given me quite new ways of conceptualizing about, like these people were like muses. They were the sort of, they weren't the spark nor were they the flame. They were kind of like that space in between, like the air in between the striking of the match, the spark and the flame. So they were like a conduit, I guess. They were kind of the conduit for my own creativity. I already had the spark. I just needed the the tunnel of focalization for the explosion, for the fire to go through and come out. And I think that's, you know what this has been, what it is, but what it has been the last 8, 10 months, whatever it's been now. And I think that these records that I created, I mean, they satisfy me. I feel quite satisfied with them. I mean, they're, in terms of someone who is a rookie, who is not a musician, who is not a singer, who is maybe sort of partially a poet, but I kind of think, wow, I did this, and no one helped me. I did it all myself. I did all the compositions, all the songs, uh, you know, myself. And I think that you know, I don't know, the development of a character surely comes from a sense of aiming towards self-sufficiency. I don't know, perhaps, but that's what it feels like. I'm sorry, it's spring here, so I've just got like all nonsense going on about my nose. So sorry if I scratch it a lot. Um, yeah, so I don't know. And then I think of the other things too, such as that I want to write these books now. I'm not so worried anymore about writing genre fiction. I think I had quite a hang up about that. But I know now that this is life, and that it's something which doing the music. I mean, it's something which clarified to me like if I want to make amazing music, I need to get more money to do it. So therefore, I need to either get some sort of grant or get a record label deal or something like this, or at the very least, become like a actually proficient musician. Might be logically kind of a way to do that. Also, as probably the first step before record deal or anything else. But whatever. Um, so I think that's sort of where I'm at, really. And in terms of the writing, I feel a lot more accomplished. I mean, I feel like I've been doing that for my whole life, really, but especially the last 15 years. I have a voice. I know I've got a voice. My problem has always been my music. Except I'm hopefully a bit better in my writing than my music in this. The skill set, the ability to articulate myself concisely and to make it flow. That's always the word, flow. Much like music. So, I think that's part of it really, and it's just something which takes time. I think I was talking to my friend today, and I was saying, like, do you think you'll be as a musician? And I said, do you think you'll make music until the day you die? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, same with me. I think I'm going to just be creative. But I will definitely write, and I will definitely make music and draw pictures and whatever else. I think it's that thing also I realised in the last 2 weeks after my date with the black rose, or the kind one. That really spiraled my psychology. Actually, I was quite depressed, and I really reflected upon what it was that I was not paying attention to, which was my instincts. I was trying to try too hard, and everything told me he was not interested, and is not interested in hearing anything or seeing anything or whatever, and that's totally fine, because I don't know if I'd want to either if it was reversed. But what it revealed to me though was that I created everything. Like like I created all of it. Mike, the Panther, Jaguar, Jasmine Boy, Little Pharaoh, all of these things. These are real people who came into my life primarily through a sexual, you know, circumstance. But I don't know. I don't know why those people. I mean, I've had sex with lots of people. I've connected. I felt with lots of people. But maybe it's also happenstance of it's after a pandemic. It's a feeling of intimacy and vulnerability that I had with the Panther, of course, which has led to a chain reaction. All of this sort of stuff. And I think that that's just the thing. I've after him, I've become a lot more self-vulnerable. And so I realised that, it's not just good living a life of pure intellectualism. You have to temper that with feeling, which is in a way this kind of eternal dichotomy of the masculine and the feminine in a very sort of binary sense. Um, the two different sides of the same coin thing, which is true, the dark and the light and la la la, all this sort of stuff. And so, I think it's also an integration of myself with my own femininity, rather than trying to, become more of a, I don't know, super, like Uberman or something. Or like a, riddled with toxic masculinity, no doubt. I mean, I was never really going to do that, I don't think, anyway. I was much too effete. But, I think it's also a level of comfortability with the self, which comes in age, surely, hopefully, comes to you as you age. And you just think about life, and you think about people, and you think about, I don't know, like what matters to you. And generally, it's usually free. It's usually something relatively easy to get if you become integrated with your emotionality and your instincts. And if you're honest, right, like you have to be really brutally honest, ruthlessly actually honest with yourself in order to get to the point. This is one of the chief um, cause of psychological psychodynamic theory is, of course, you have to be truthful. It's very, very painful because you have to start to dissolve parts of the ego, which is the thing which says no, no, no. Like when you have an instinctual feeling or thought, or reaction, it's the ego that says no, no, you're just being judgmental, or you're just being paranoid, or you're just being whatever, and it's saying no, that's the ego, and that's when you fuck things up because you don't listen, especially with people. Most of the time, society, people in the world, with with other people, it's really just quite simple. I mean, it's all instinctual. It's really very little of it is actually intellectual because humans are not logical creatures. We're not machines. We're not automatons, pre-calculated. Um, a lot of things. I mean, not a lot. Sorry, everything. Even the so-called psychopaths who have the seemingly look like they are cold and calculating and like machines. They're not. The reason they do what they do is because of a disturbed emotionality, right? A maladaptation. So I think it's the same with narcissist or whatever. All of it. And so everything is emotional in a sense, and therefore, interpersonal dynamics, the sort of what you need to put as a core of that, of your interrelationship with other people, or how to read the silence of it almost, or read the non-silence, of course, as well, is of course instinct, intuition, because that tells you everything, and it's just a matter of being like switched onto it, paying attention to it, like anything in life. Surely, you have to pay attention to the book you're reading about physics in the same way that you need to pay attention to the person across from you who is giving you a lot of different signs, most of them non-verbal. And by most, I mean, 95%. So you've really got to like switch on. And I'm saying this to myself, being neurodivergent, as well as sort of just people who might be watching this. Yeah, But as you get older, I mean, as I get older, and other people I know who are getting older, we're all getting older, is it's just like you just don't care about a lot of things. Getting older is really a form of like quality control in the sense that you realize a lot of what you don't want rather than what you do want. It's a process of elimination, and then whatever you're left with is what you want in your life for your life. It's rather hilarious because you're kind of taught the opposite in a way growing up. So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to actually talk about bad news from the start. Maybe I will if it doesn't run out. But that anyway, sojourning in an awkward, clunky way to that. Bad news from the stars was the second EP about a guy called Nishant. The first one is called Marathi Graffiti, which was about him. And then this one is called, as I said, this Bad News from the Stars. And it's sort of I'm obviously using, again, Gainsbourg, referencing his album, and also the painting that he had. I think it's a painting or drawing, I forget. Anyway, and so, I kind of wanted to do that, like, instead of like, making it all like reggae or whatever. I just thought at the end of the day, I'm like, I need to get this out. Like for me, I need to just get it out. So I just did it a cappella, and so I've got like one little Marathi man, and I've got Bad News from the Stars, also as my exit song, my outro, and Gay and God instead of Jew and God, Um, what else? I mean, none of the other songs are actually Gainsbourg songs. Oh, Etcher Hummer, sorry, Etcher Hummer is in English, obviously, but the rest of them are my own compositions, my own songs. So yeah, it was just sort of taking a splinter of what he was doing there and doing my own thing on top of it, which is what I seem to do. I'd just reimagine them. Um, so that I've just put up. I'm actually in a place now where I'm like, do I want to keep talking about and keep making Desi albums? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I think I need to. I think I need to step away from this kind of, I don't know, this kind of vaguely obsessional. Because I think I've kind of figured it out, right? Like you're only really obsessed about something that you don't quite understand fully, and it's like a puzzle. Like you need to have every little piece, but 80% completed is complete, pretty much, when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because you can never know everything. I can never know everything about India or about whatever. The psychology of the Indian homosexual. I don't know. So, it's sort of like that. You have to sort of go, okay, I know enough just about people, life, and then you just know enough about the cultural conditions and the historical la la la, and then you fill in the rest, you fill in the lines. So that's sort of where I'm at with that. I have like maybe another half dozen albums that I do think I will do, but I'm not sure if I will just rewrite them or if I will keep them as a focalization upon India or that as the thematic. I also want to start working on 3 albums, which will be also like translations, but reimagined for a bastard girl that I like. But yeah, it's that idea of fantasy again. You want to integrate. You want to explore the fantasy and not risk reality because yeah, when you live the vie bohème, it's already dramatic enough. Your life's already dramatic enough. You don't need like the added drama of like a psycho romance or something. So, or yeah, I don't. I mean, it's more like I just don't want to hurt anyone. Actually, funnily enough, after all of this, what I've learned, I don't want to help. I don't want to hurt anyone else. I'd like to help some people, but I don't want to hurt them. So, I mean, I've already written about this girl, this woman, and yeah, it is what it is. But what to do? Can't There's no point being homosexual for 30 years and then one day waking up and going, "Whoops, I was meant to be heterosexual." By then, sodomy is your style. So, yeah, boing. It's like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just what to do. I mean, well, to explore it through the fantasy of music and art and writing and poetry, and like that. So that's sort of it. I think I'm kind of at the end of it. So yeah, thank you for listening, watching. If you did, well done you. And if you did, leave a love heart in the comments if you got this far down below. It was so cringe to say that, but please do, because that would be really entertaining to see actually who listens to this, and I'm sure it's about this many people. But yeah. Anyway, love heart, because lead with love, which is just kindness and charity, really. True love is charity, I think. When all is said and done, and all of these goddamn albums and everything else, that's a major revelation. Damn, is that like love is not another person, love is people. It's like it's giving to people, not one person. Ooh la la. The revelations just keep coming this year. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. Thank you for watching. Leave a love heart, and yeah, keep smiling, keep creating. Just create. Okay, ciao, bye. Bye.